right, everybody, welcome back to the layout. This is going to be episode 3 of my workshop series. Today we're going to be working on the new expansion that I put in, and we're going to be installing new track. So this is going to be a video on basic track installation. The track we're using today is Atlas Code 100, and the switches we're installing today will be Pico switches, and they're going to be Code 100 as well. So let's go over some of the tools that we're going to need for doing basic track installation. Now, obviously, if you're using any type of cutting tool or Dremel tool or any type of thing like that, you want to make sure you're wearing your safety goggles, obviously, for safety. So I do have a Dremel tool. I'm not going to show it to you on screen, but I do have it, so we're going to be using that. The next thing that I like to use is a pair of cutters for the track. These work very well. There's different types you can get. This is my favorite kind. All right. Obviously, we're going to need some rail joiners, track nails, we're going to be working with a pin vise today, and the drill size you're going to need for track nails is number 58. A straight edge. Let's see what else I have here. A marker for marking where you need to cut. After you cut the track, it's going to leave some type of burrs on the rail, so you're going to want to clean it up. So you're going to need a little bit of a file, a little small file here. And you're going to need, when you put in the track nails, a set of these if you have it. Now you can get these from Micromark, sells them, and what's nice is they actually take the track nails and actually put them in for you. It's a tool just to hold them actually as you're putting them in. If you notice inside here, there's a little slot that you can put the track nail in, and I'll show you. Get a track nail for you. So you insert the track nail, and you lock it in. All right. So we'll just put it in this switch right here. Push it down. It's in. It's that simple. Again, if you're using if you're mounting it to cork, or if you're mounting it to plywood, obviously you have to pre-drill a little bit, but I'm mounting my track to Homasote. So it's really easy to install the track nails. Okay, let's see what else we have. And also, if you want to have correct spacing for your track, you're going to be using, you could use these. And the way these work is you would insert on the outside rails, and this is a 2-inch spacing. This is 1.5 inch spacing. All right, so these are also available. I believe I got these at Walters, but they do come in handy if you're working in yards and stuff like that. All right. And finally, this is not a tool you can buy. This is a tool that I made. It's a regular flat screwdriver, and what I did is I bent the end and then used my Dremel tool to cut a slot in it. So when you're putting in the rail joiners, it moves the rail joiners for you. So it's a nice little homemade tool that you can do. All right. So when we come back, we're gonna go over what do you do with your track after you cut it. All right. So right now we're gonna cut this piece of track here, and I gotta cut about 1 inch off over here, and then we're gonna install this piece of track. All right. So I'll be right back. Let me go to the Dremel tool. All right, so I just got done cutting this piece of track, and I didn't show the Dremel tool on film because it's in another part of my workshop. So it's a little bit easier just to cut it and then bring it right back. Now, after you cut it, I don't know if I can zoom in, but you're gonna get different marks on the ends, so you have to clean it up. All right, it looks nice and clean in this shot, but does have like little burrs on the end here. So what you want to do is take, let's see if I can do this on film. What you want to do is you want to clean up the backs, and all you have to do is run your file just a couple times over, just like that. Just like that, and then you want to hit the sides just a couple times, again, just to take away any of the sharp edges that it may have from cutting. Okay. So I'm gonna go cut this once more. I'll be right back. All right, so now what we're going to do is clean up the inside of the area here. And basically you just lightly run your file in just a couple times, and just to clean up any burrs that are in there, if there are any. You're going to do this on both sides. Now you're only going to do this process if you're actually putting custom pieces in that you have to cut. Otherwise, you're just going to be using regular snap track or switches and stuff like that. And then what you do on the railhead itself, lightly hit it, and it knocks down any imperfections. Okay, ready for installation. So we'll come back, we'll get the rail joiners out. All right, so when you get your rail joiners, they usually come in strips like this. And all you have to do is just cut them using your track tool. And just cut them out. And sometimes they have a little extra on the end. You just want to cut that off. And that's basically it for this process. And it's just basically cutting out each piece and getting them ready for the track. So we'll come right back in just a second. All right, so now you're going to take your rail joiners, slide them on your piece. It should have a snug fit like this one. What you don't want is a loose rail joiner. If you have a loose rail joiner, it's going to cause an electrical problem down the road. And you don't want that. So in this piece here, we're just going to slide them on. Now, as you're cutting track and removing ties, you're going to be missing nail holes. And so what you're going to do is put the new nail holes in that you're going to need. So this is where your pin vise comes into place. And basically, light pressure, and just do clockwise turn. You need about 6 turns, and then you get yourself a nail hole. It's that simple using this tool. And remember, the drill you need is a number 58. Done. All right, we'll be right back. All right, so on Flex Track, you have one rail that will move and one rail that won't. The side of the track that's going to bend is the side that you want the movable rail on. All right, it's pretty much that simple. And basically what you do is you're just going to take this and slide it on like so. All right, now when you're going this close to other tracks, you may have to trim some of the ties like I did here. And then what you're going to do is you're actually going to push to the angle that you need. Let me get my track nails. Okay, and then you're going to basically line it up where you need to go. So, right about there. So you may have to, definitely need 2 hands for this process. Okay, so you may have to do some small adjustments just to make sure that's going to work, and that's really tight of a curve, so I'm going to have to make an adjustment on that. But let me adjust this track and we'll come right back. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to install our switch, first switch here. We're going to be using the Pico switches, and when you buy these switches new, they don't come pre-drilled with nail holes. You're going to have to put them in yourself. These particular ones have already holes in them because they came off my previous layout. So these are recycled switches, but that's okay. So what you're going to do is just slide them on to these rail joiners here, nice and easy. And then if you have to center the rail joiner, just use your tool if you have one, and then adjust them as needed. All right, so then you're gonna adjust the switch to where you want it, and then put your track nails in. So let me adjust the camera. And then we'll put our first nail in. Now they do, I don't have it in front of I don't have it here right now, but they do make another one of these tools that actually removes track nails. All right, so just for future reference. And we'll put the next nail in. And let's check the alignment. Just gonna do just a slight adjustment on there. What's nice about working with Homasote is that you can pull the nails out and put them back in and with ease. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so a couple things that you want to pay attention to is you want your track work to be correct. You want it to be straight, you want it to be level, you want it to be lined up properly, because the last thing you want to do is have trains go down and start derailing all over the place. That's not fun. So a couple of things you want to check is, the spacing between the rail heads. You want to make sure that the rail heads are nice and flush and level, both on curves and on straightaways. If you notice, we had to remove some of the ties here for the to put the rails in, or the rail joiners in. So what you do is the ties that you removed, you would take off these plates with a chisel blade and then slide them back underneath. All right, so we're not going to do that in this video, but that's just another little technique. So you just fill the space right up again. All right. So once your track is in and all your switches are in, you're ready to go, you want to test your rail. You want to make sure that everything is working the way it should work. Now, this is a 15-inch radius, roughly. I'm going to be running 44 tonners down here, S2s, S1s, stuff like that. So this is going to be entrance to the engine facility. So cabooses are going to come through there. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're not going to have any type of derailments. So you want to run a piece of rolling stock through there and make sure it's nice and straight and it flows and it's not going to derail. If it was going to derail, it would have derailed in here, and it's not. So we have successful track work installation here. All right. So again, look at this video, leave a comment if you want, and check out the tools that you have. You know, you may have to get some tools to do this, or use the tools that you have. Again, this is just the way I do it. It's not the only way. There's many ways of doing this. I'm just sharing this because this has worked for me successfully in the past, and actually with this layout as well. So I appreciate you watching this video, subscribing to my channel, and this is going to be wrapping up volume 3 of my workbench series, or my workshop series rather, and we're going to have another video coming out soon, probably within a couple weeks. All the workshop videos from this point forward are all going to be geared to stuff I'm doing on the layout, so I hope you enjoy them. So thanks for watching, have a great night, and I'll see you at the next workshop series video, volume 4.